Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the ARG Flophouse, and I am, of course, The Goon. Today is August 5th, 2017, and here are your headlines for today's episode. Four things we're going to be looking at for this one here. Big news from about a week ago, Meat Sleep's return. There's been some activity also with American Horror Story, which I'd like to talk about. Cicada 3301, gonna have a little bit of a brief discussion of, and just some talk about clowns in general, because they seem to be fucking everywhere lately. Don't know what's going on with that. So first big thing that has happened in the alternate reality game community is there has been some activity from Meat Sleep. For anyone who is not aware of who Meat Sleep is, he's sometimes simply referred to as Meat. They are a group of persons on YouTube that gather across the country, and they seem to create randomly generated videos that suggest that they are a kidnapper, rapist, cannibal, or something evil to such an effect. There's, according to the second to last video now at this point, which is called No More, which was posted in January, the whole what's it called, the whole concept for the channel was to create randomly generated videos and to use player input and the audience's thoughts and theories to further the story. This ended back in January of 2016 due to harassment of both Meat and of certain players within the game, which they decided they didn't want to cause any more trouble in people's lives here, and decided it was time to come clean and stop. However, on the 30th of July this year, there was a tweet from one of the multi-accounts, or one of the connected accounts, I should say, actually, to Meat Sleep, from Sownkin, which is a anagram of new skin, which is connected to the game. There's a lot to look at, of course, which they wrote, "Our bones are all my bones. Dear bone, please don't throw away my bones." They also uploaded a video to YouTube called Missing Bones. It can be viewed on the channel Clockwork of Madness, who was smart enough to simply grab it and upload it to their channel as well, simply because, as predicted, and with both Meat and Sownkin's old style, both the Twitter message and the video was taken down, I believe, a day or two later. Watching the video, there are hollow echoes of sound repeating over and over and over in the video. There's also a limb of some sort that looks very pale, with scars and with what appears to be a green inchworm moving on it. What this is, no idea. Don't know if this is even a return of Meat Sleep, or a continuation of the game, or maybe this is just the uploading of a video that never made it to the actual game. They didn't want to throw it away and they just kind of put it in there. That's all I can really think of. Both pieces, of course, were moved a day later. The activity matches Meat and Sownkin's old style, which raises suspicion, but until we get further activity, we can't really say whether or not they are back. So yeah, it's a bit odd. We don't know if this is going to be continuing. I would love to see Meat return and continue the game, whatever it may be. But considering that their process for making the videos has now sort of been exposed, it kind of removes some of the mystery. Maybe this will be a different game, which would be nice. And in either case, I'd love to see more activity from this group. The videos were always very unsettling and very weird, which was always welcome in the creepy community online. So yeah, that's the big thing that happened over the past 2 weeks. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a whole lot of craziness online. So moving right ahead, there was some discussion in the ARG, what's it called, the Discord channel that we have, regarding Cicada 3301. so I kind of just wanted to discuss them a little bit, considering not a lot of people are familiar with the name. Let me just get this right over here. Okay. Cicada 3301 is an online secret group, sort of in the same vein as Anonymous. They're known for recruiting highly skilled co-writers, cryptographers, all sorts of intelligent persons to. Well, we don't know why. That's part of the mystery. They've been doing this for several years. We don't know why they're doing this or to what end. The symbol for the group is usually this moth that I've placed on the screen here, just so people can recognize it if they see it in the future. They are not meant to be taken lightly, as they are believed to be a larger group, and also, again, because they do tend to bring in people who are very good code writers, hackers, cryptographers, such like that. But still, there's no reason. There's no reason to this as far as I have been able to find. There's a lot of theories about them. What was it? Late last year, there was, of course, the Holofernes game, which we were involved with. If you are not familiar with it, you can always go take a look back on this channel. You'll find some old records of it and everything. But yeah, apart from that, it's really mysterious. There's not a whole lot of information on them. Again, I saw some people talking about this in the chat. I just thought I'd give some heads up here. They are a worldwide organization. There are possible illegal ties to them. No, I'm not talking about the Planned Parenthood attack with the group called 3301. That's a completely different thing. That was a different group. Don't look at that. But there is a lot of documentation of Cicada 3301 if you want to find it online. One of the big puzzles they put out was a book called the Liber Primus. It's an encrypted handbook that you can find online. If you can try to translate it, try to restore it, code it, figure out what you can. They use a lot of ancient symbology from Babylonian text, the Kabbalah. It's really a mysterious group with no end in sight, unfortunately. So we can't really talk too much in detail about them. They're sort of one of those everywhere and nowhere groups, but it's one of those things you gotta be a little suspicious at the same time, since anyone can claim to be one of them. There's no real documentation or membership roster for this sort of thing. Again, it's sort of like being part of Anonymous. Anyone can claim it, but you know, it's kind of a weird thing. It's one of those things that's kind of up in the air. So that's that. Next part here. Where to put that thing? Right about there. So yeah. So next thing we're talking about here. I started watching American Horror Story the other week, or a couple weeks back. Really good. And the 7th season is coming out. If anyone isn't aware, there is sort of a running ARG with it at this time. If you go to... is it AHS? I believe it's AHS Cult. Let me just double check here. I believe it's... I got it written down. Yeah, it's ahscult.com. You can actually log in through your Facebook account. You can message them. They can message you, and they can connect you. They're sort of a bit of a hinting puzzle of what's going on with the season. Earlier in the year, there was... what's it called? I don't want to call it a leak, but there was a statement sort of put out that it was going to be connected to the most recent election that happened. And then we got American Horror Story Cult being the first images with this one here, and of course the other one, the famous bees one here. Let me just bring that up here. The Hive Mind, if you will, which looks really cool too. But yeah, there have been a lot of teasings through Fox FX for the upcoming season. Clowns, bees, and this website. It seems to be a Hive Mind cult that dresses clowns and it's kind of weird. They seem to be using. I don't want to say they're jumping on the bandwagon of using the recent creepy clown sightings. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they've been the cause of it. I can't really say. But they seem to be using this to create authenticity within the audience's mind. If you decide to go to the website, it's currently on week 3 of 8. So there's lots of time to catch up, see what they put out. I'm trying to figure out the purpose of the bees within the game itself as well. From what I've seen, I mean, the most obvious, symbol we have here with the poster here for American Horror Story Cult is, the idea of a hive mind. However, if you look at the actual clown images, let me just see if I can find one here. I don't know why I didn't grab this before. Try to find a good picture. But I can't find a really high resolution. But if you go to the website, something that stands out, interestingly enough, is the red noses they wear. They all seem to resemble honeycomb, which is, again, connected to bees, the idea of a hive mind, the idea of one thought, one system, one style sort of thing. It's quite intriguing. I like it. If you're new to ARGs, this might be something to pick up on, even if you're not big in the series of American Horror Story itself. It is a good place to start. That's I think it might also be one of the ways that people start to get into alternate reality games themselves. The first alternate reality game I ever played was Slusho, which was a promotional one for the movie Cloverfield before it came out. There was a lot of connected stuff, and there was all sorts of things to find within the website, and it was absolutely wonderful. Probably one of the funnest things I've done in a long time, kind of thing. So yeah. So the idea of clowns being unnerving has been around for a very, very long time. They've always been a bit of a horror staple when it comes to North America. Well, I don't want to say a horror staple. Well, they've been around a long time. They've been used for a variety of movies, films, everything from It to what's it called? Freak Show. I think that was the one that had a Pinhead. I can't remember. It's from a long time ago. But they're always going to be a rather unnerving figure when it comes to horror. Let me just... We'll go with the other one again. Just bring up the other image again, because that's... That one there? No, not that one. Not that one. That one. There we go. Yeah, clowns are always going to be thought of as something a little bit different, a little bit spooky for a few reasons. The fake face itself with the paint, it gives it like a corpse-like look, corpse-like effect. Also, if you do look into professional clowns, you'll see that there's certain beliefs and rules when it comes to the paint itself. There's certain symbols with the paint. Good example is traditional clowns don't use triangles, because a triangle is thought to be a threatening image, or sorry, a threatening shape when it comes to trying to entertain children. And then, of course, you start to connect other things, and there's a lot to see. I just remember that one in particular because some people were talking about it in conjunction with John Wayne Gacy, who, of course, was a famous clown in history. We'll get to it in a bit. The idea of being able to hide in plain sight, and, of course, the irony of having a character that's meant to bring joy to young and old being something that could be possibly evil, is, of course, rather frightening. It's also a phobia. I believe it's referred to as ulophobia, the fear of clowns. It's weird, you know. The idea of dressing up as a clown in this carnival-style regalia, painting of the face, wearing a mask that allows you to stand in public while wearing your own face at the same time, sort of makes a person a bit of an uncanny imposter of themselves. So maybe we'll see some of that from the AHS Cult season, which is really cool. They've also got a bunch of images that you can look at that show the clowns in really bizarre situations on the site. You can all explore through there. You can find that stuff. You're smart people. I know you are. Clowns in non-carnival, non-circus locations is always weird due to the fact that they look so out of place as well. You have a clown that's standing in the big top. It's performance piece. You have a clown that's standing in a forest. A little more weird. They stand. It stands out. It's just kind of a weird setting, weird place style. It's one of those things. For decades, clowns have been used as a sort of guise or mask by people. Of course, I did mention John Wayne Gacy with his Pogo the Clown. He was, of course, an infamous serial killer. Since 2014, there have been a great rise of clowns wandering around in public in really unnerving styles, standing on roads in the middle of the night. Or I shouldn't be saying there are clowns. There are people dressed as clowns. I have no idea. Portugal, for decades there has been oh god, yeah, I remember reading this now. Portugal, for decades there has been rumors of the clown mouth threat, which is it's sort of an urban legend where people claim that they're approached by a clown, usually at night in the city, sometimes groups of 2 or 3 people, and they'll ask them if they would like a clown mouth. This, of course, is what is also referred to as a Glasgow smile, where the cheeks of the mouth, the edges of the mouth are extended upwards like a permanent style. Really unnerving stuff. And also, if you look for the book Mysterious America, there's decades of documentation of just weird sightings of clowns all across North America. There's all sorts of weird stuff when it comes to clowns. Clowns are North America's #1 monster, in my opinion. It's probably one of the biggest things that North America has ever created, especially now with the high decline of circuses and carnivals in the traditional style that would have clowns. So to see a clown nowadays, it is much more unnerving. It's something that people don't expect. So yeah, it's very weird. It's very bizarre, and I don't want to say they're bizarre people. I mean, the ones who go there go and try and entertain people. Good on them, good for them, and everything. But I don't know. There's something unnerving of a carny walking around in face paint, trying to entertain people. It's just, I don't know, it's something a little unsettling. I don't have a fear of clowns, though. It's one of those things. Anyone who's wearing a mask and standing around in plain sight, it's just kind of a weird thing. So yeah. So I don't have much else this week apart from Meat's appearance. There hasn't been a whole lot of activity that I've been tracking. There hasn't been anything else from Camdrome. There hasn't been anything else from really anyone else. And the news itself has been really... Well, let's not go into that. The news has been really weird. So I am looking for more things to talk about, to discuss, to research, and to look into. So I kind of want to reach out to everyone here who can hear this. Please, if you're on Twitter, message me, Scott the Reciter, or you can email me, renegadeandparagon@gmail.com, and I will absolutely look into just about anything that people are talking about. If there's activity of some sort, I absolutely want to look into it. There hasn't been any Ben, there hasn't been any Camdrome, so it's kind of hard to dig when there's, no survey, no sightings, no nothing going on. Hopefully, something will come up in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a bit more coverage for the next episode. But yeah, I want to make this into a bi-weekly thing where I can talk to people, where I can have people, maybe even at some point I can have people on here on the show, talk to creators, talk to players, talk to persons of interest within games and stuff, and maybe boost some games that absolutely deserve it. So if anyone has any suggestions, any thoughts, any ideas, you can either put it here in the video, leave it in the comments, follow me here, and we'll definitely have more in the future. So it's a bit of a short episode today. Glad I got to come here and talk just a little bit about what's being seen, what's going on. But really, again, there isn't a whole lot of activity right now. So we're going to do this again in 2 weeks. Be sure to keep an eye on the channel and an eye on my Twitter. If there's an emergency stream being done, that's the first place you'll hear it, through Twitter and then on here. But as for right about now, I think we're gonna call it an episode. It's a short one, but it's you know, again, I can't force a show out of nothing, you know. So yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Scott the Reciter, or message me at renegadeandparagon@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to talk to you all. Until next time, thank you for joining us again at the ARG Flophouse, episode 2, and next time we will hopefully have more. Thank you, and have yourself a very nice